we're taking a look at a very original dive watch from a brand called Horizon. They've only made 2 watches so far. This is their second release. It's called the Pilgrim, and it's inspired by Jules Verne. You can definitely see a lot of that inspiration in the design. However, like I've said a million times here on my channel, coming up with an original idea is very hard, and using inspiration, something like Jules Verne, makes it even more difficult. So, did they get this watch right? Let's flip the camera and take a look at some of the details on the Horizon Pilgrim. This watch is called the Pilgrim. It is inspired by Jules Verne. So far, I think they've only come out with 2 watches. This is their second watch. Both of those watches have been inspired by Jules Verne, and you can definitely see some of that inspiration here. It's a little whimsical. I really like the design of the case and the dial. We'll get into that in just a second. So this is inspired by a captain at 15. The Pilgrim was a whaler depicted in that book, and that's what this is actually named after. Pretty cool. And I have to say, Horizon as a name in general, I think is a really good name for a micro brand. There are a lot of micro brands out there, and names, to get them right, is pretty hard, and I think Horizon sounds really good. I like it. So this is a dive watch. It's a 200-meter dive watch. It has a dual crown setup. You have an inner rotating bezel that's controlled by the crown at the 3 o'clock, and then of course at the 4 o'clock you have a crown that controls the time. This is powered by a Sellita SW200 with a custom date wheel. That is a date right there at the 3 o'clock. It's in a trapezoid shape, the same as the other primary indices. Right now it is the 24th on here, and I think this looks really very good. Now it's a little bit harder to tell the date, but I really don't think that's a bad thing. The date is there when you want to see it, and it's really not that hard to see. You will be able to read it. It's legible. It's just a little bit smaller when you're in the double digits, so the first digit is a little bit smaller, but other than that, I think it works really very well. You have applied indices, and they are very tall indices, all filled with lume. Then you have a minute track. That minute track is in white. The dial itself only has 2 words on it: Horizon, which is the brand name and logo, right below the 12 o'clock. And then right above the 6 o'clock, it says Pilgrim in script. You can see the handset. It starts out with sort of a cone that goes around the handset at the base. I'll do really close up so you could see what I'm talking about. Then you have an arrow for the hour hand and a fence post hand for the minutes, and a loomed lollipop for the second hand. The counterbalance on here is a double diamond, sort of like a quiver. It looks really good. Again, a little bit of the design elements in here are kind of bespoke, so I really do like what they have done. And then you have a sloping inner rotating bezel, and because of the boxed sapphire crystal, which really isn't domed, it's kind of flat and boxed, it looks great. It gives it a little bit of an effect that the inner bezel is actually kind of raised, but it isn't. It actually is sloping, and I'll do close-ups of that as well so you can see what I'm talking about. The bezel on here is sort of flat on top, so you can see it has a vertical brushing on it. Then it is polished on its sides. The case itself is in 2 pieces, so you have a brushed portion. That's this little area right here on each one of the lugs. That is a separate piece, so that's a piece that fits into the main case, which is polished and brushed on the sides. And then as you turn it over, it's polished on the bottom, so on the flanks of the case it's polished. Then you have a screwed in case back. So basically you have a 4-piece case. On the case back itself, you have that boat, the Pilgrim, and then there is a whale right below the Pilgrim, and I'll do a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. And there's tons of specs on the case back. Of course, Sellita SW200 is mentioned, and you know, all that good stuff. Rubber strap on here is really very nice. 22 millimeter lug span. This is a prototype, but I believe that the bracelet and the strap will be what you see here today. So it's 22 millimeters at the lug width, but it tapers down to 16 millimeters. I love that. And you get a really nice milled chunky buckle on here, which is signed with the Horizon name right there. kind of reminds me what you get from the Royal Oak offshore a little bit. And speaking of which, that date wheel also reminds me of what you get from certain, not all, Zenith watches. So Zenith do this very often, and they don't do it with the other indices. They only do it with the date, with a trapezoid for one reason or another. They are pretty known for doing that, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure if they were actually inspired by Zenith, but just wanted to note that. You have very big crowns on here, and the crowns are actually pretty cool as well. You have little dimples in each one of the crowns, and there's a little bit of polishing, brushing on each one of the crowns as well. So lots of different finishes throughout the case, even the crowns, the buckle, everything here finished very, very nicely. This is a very high quality watch, especially considering the price. There's also a bracelet. The bracelet here is very nice as well. It kind of feels like a Jubilee. Obviously it isn't, but it's a multi-link bracelet, and it has the Horizon logo right there. There's a beveled edge that goes all the way around. There's a beveled edge right down the sides of the bracelet, and then everything down the center has a high polish. The only thing I don't like about it is the end links. So of course they are a flat end link or a straight end link, and then you don't have any sort of continuity between the connections here. I wish that they actually put, 3 connectors, but I think it would probably be a lot wobblier on the wrist. I'm sure there's a very comfortable bracelet. I would have liked to see something that integrated to the case better, that's all. The price on here is excellent, $562. That is a very good price for the specs that you are getting here. You're getting BGW9 as well. It's old radium, as you can see, and even that date wheel is colored in that old radium to match the rest of the indices. This is a prototype, so I think the color is a little bit off. I think they're gonna get that right for the production model. So this is a prototype, as I mentioned. Over here it just says number 000, so between these lugs right here. And then over here, I believe it's in Latin. I'm not even sure, I'll be honest with you, but I believe it is in Latin. It says fortune favors the bold. That is a quote, and it is a quote from Jules Verne, I believe. So this is a 41 millimeter watch, I want to say, and I'm gonna do some quick measurements and then throw it on my wrist. So 41 millimeters, almost spot on. The thickness on here is just about 12.4 millimeters. Not bad for a 200 meter dive watch. Of course, you're probably not going to use this diving. 6.8 millimeters on the crown, on both crowns. Because it's really, sort of a dress diver, I would call it, but 46.6 millimeters lug to lug. So this is actually a very wearable watch. I've already worn this watch because when I got it, I was like, wow, that is really cool. I wanted to throw it on my wrist, so I did. So very quickly, let me show you what I have on my wrist, and then we will do a quick lume shot with the Horizon. Today I have on my Vacheron Overseas World Timer. Is a watch that I just recently came back with from vacation. You can see it's a little bit dirty still. The strap got really dirty. I went from the pool to the ocean to the pool to the ocean, so just discolored the strap a little bit. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that out. Hopefully I will. The straps are pretty expensive on there, but here it is on my 7.5 inch wrist, and you can see it wears like a 40 millimeter watch. I would say it does not wear like a 41 millimeter watch in my opinion. It's thin for a 200 meter water resistant watch, and the dual crowns don't really add all that much width to it. It just feels like a 40 millimeter watch or a 41 millimeter watch, maybe on the smaller side from that. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. It doesn't feel very big to me, and that has a lot to do with the fact that they went with a very heavy taper down to 16 millimeters on the strap. So it does wear very comfortable. It looks really good. It looks vintage but modern. Very, very cool. Jules Verne would be proud, I think. Anyway, very quickly, let's shut off the lights and do a quick lume shot. I cannot complain about the lume. The lume is excellent here. That date wheel is lumed, so they really went the extra mile to really complete this watch and make it look special. It really does stand out from sort of a sea of everyday mundane dive watches. This is something different, and they went the extra mile, as I mentioned. You're also getting a Sleet SW200, and it's well under $600. You're getting a lot of watch for the money. I'm not sure if they're including the bracelet. I don't think they are, but in this case, this is usually not what I recommend, but I would definitely get this on the strap first. And if you want the bracelet, get the bracelet, but the bracelet is really an afterthought here. I think that the strap on here is so nice that you're going to enjoy this on the strap as is. Definitely get the bracelet if you do like to wear a bracelet from time to time. It has quick release. You could change through pretty easily, but I really do think this is pretty impressive as is on the strap, especially for $562. Really a beautiful watch, very well made, and really sort of creative. I really do like it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. I think this is definitely a winner. I think that if you are interested in something that is out of the ordinary, this is pretty out of the ordinary and fun. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.